morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. We're here on, we're here on Mucking Fun Day as we are looking at all the crazy stuff that has happened over the weekend. Like, a lot of explosions, supposedly, and other people kicking each other in professional and unprofessional ways. So let's go ahead and get into our headlines. Today on Before Coffee, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi killed in a helicopter crash. And who is Iran's first Vice President, Mohammad Mokber?
And we have a new heavyweight champion of the world, and he's Ukrainian.
Climate change is impacting millions in India, but as the country votes, some politicians skirt the issue.
And Rudy Giuliani boasts that he's not getting indicted on the internet at his birthday party, and then he's indicted.
In culture news, Sean Diddy Combs admits assaulting ex-girlfriend and says actions are inexcusable.
Those stories and more, which is National Be a Millionaire Day. So get right out there and be a millionaire on May 20th, 2024, Before Coffee.
Okay, let's start with our first big news story here, which is a huge helicopter crash happened over the weekend that included not only the Iranian president, but also many other people, I think, in the administration. This is coming off of Euronews, written by Helika Linus. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi has died in a helicopter crash in the mountainous north of the country. Iranian President helicopter crashed into Iran's mountainous northwest on Sunday, so just yesterday, or May 19th, this happened. Iranian state media confirmed the president's death this morning on May 20th. Rescue workers had found the crash site in a difficult to access region near the border with Azerbaijan, the Iranian Red Crescent said. Since the helicopter burned out after the crash, there's no hope for survivors. The drone footage released on Monday morning shows the wreckage of the destroyed helicopter. Raisi was traveling in Iran's East Azerbaijan province in the northwest of the country on Sunday afternoon when the helicopter disappeared from radar. According to Iranian state media, 65 rescue teams were on duty that night. Immediately after the crash, it was dark, rainy, and foggy. In addition, mud made the work of rescue workers more difficult. A total of 9 people were on board the helicopter, including Iranian Foreign Minister Amira Dolian and the governor of the provincial capital Tabriz. They were returning from the inauguration of a dam in the neighboring Azerbaijan. There they met with President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev. Iranian state television initially reported the helicopter crash near Jolfa. The city is located on the border with Azerbaijan, about 600 kilometers northwest of the Iranian capital of Tehran. State television later reported the crash happened further east, near the village of Uzi, but the information remained contradictory. Iranian representatives were traveling in a total of 3 helicopters. The other two, Michigan, arrived at their destination undamaged. Ebrahim had been Iranian president since 2021 and was considered a hardliner. After the death of Gina Masha Amini, he brutally attacked the demonstrators. He also increasingly isolated the country from the rest of the world. So who's taking over now that the president has died in a helicopter crash? Well, it's the vice president, of course. That's how most things go. The next in line is the next in charge. But who is Mohammad Mokber, the acting president after the crash? This is from The Hindu. I don't know who it's and with association of AP. Iran's first vice president, Mohammad Mokber, was appointed as acting president of the Islamic Republic today on May 20th after the death of President in a helicopter crash. Mr. Mokbar, 68, largely has been in the shadows compared to other politicians in Iran's Shia theocracy. Raisi's death under the constitution thrust Mr. Mokbar in public view. He is expected to serve as caretaker president for some 50 days before mandatory presidential elections are held in Iran. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, made the announcement of Mr. Mokbar's appointment in a condolence message he shared after the crash on May 19th. This helicopter was found, we just covered that. Despite his low-key public profile, Mr. Mokbar has held prominent positions in the country's power structure, particularly in bonyads or charitable foundations. What is a bonyads? I don't know what a bonyads is. It's just like a random word I've never seen before. They're charitable trusts in Iran that play a major role in Iran's economy. Okay, so he's like an economy guy. Those groups were fueled by donations or assets seized after Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution, particularly those previously associated with Iran's Shah or those in his government. Mr. Mokbar oversaw a bonyad known in English as the execution of Imam Khomeini's order, or ICO, referring to the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The U.S. Treasury said the organization oversaw billions of dollars in assets as a business juggernaut under the direct supervision of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei that had a stake in nearly every sector of the Iranian economy, including energy, telecommunications, and financial services. ICO had systematically violated the rights of dissidents by confiscating land and property from opponents of the regime, including political opponents, religious minorities, and exiled Iranians. Treasury said that in 2021, in sanctioning Mokbar, the European Union has also sanctioned Mokbar for a time with others over concerns about Iran's nuclear program. As the head of ICO, Mr. Mokbar oversaw an effort to make COVID-19 vaccine during the height of the pandemic, pledging to make tens of millions of doses. Only a fraction of that ever made it to the public without explanation. Mr. Mokbar previously worked in banking and telecommunications. He also worked at the Mossad Foundation, another bonyad that a major conglomerate that managed the country's mega projects and businesses. While there, he found himself entangled in a bitter legal dispute between mobile phone service providers Turkcell and South Africa's MTN over potentially entering the Iranian market. MTN ended up entering Iran. A Turkcell filing alleged Mokbar sought MTN's help in securing certain defense equipment in exchange for potentially working with it opposed to Turkcell. Mr. Mokbar said improper influence up to including negotiating with and on behalf of the Supreme Leader and MTN's favor. Turkcell later alleged in a legal filing. NTM report later said there was no arms transfer, though it acknowledged Mokbar was a player in Iran's decision to go with MTN. Iranian media reports suggest Mr. Mokbar, who holds a doctorate in international law, was crucial in Iranians' efforts to bypass Western sanctions on its oil industry. Mr. Mokbar has been a member of Iran's Expenditure Council, Expenditure Council since 2022, which advises the Supreme Leader as well as settles disputes.
Expediency?
Yeah. I can't well, you said it now. As well as settles disputes between Parliament and the Guardian Council, Iran's constitutional watchdog that also oversees the country's election. Mr. Mokbar was born September 1st, 1955 in Denzful in Iran's southwestern Khuzestan province to a clerical family. He served as an officer in the Revolutionary Guards Medical Corps during the 1980s Iran-Iraq War, according to pressure group United Against Nuclear Iran. Mokbar used the vast wealth accumulated by ICO at the expense of Iranian people to reward regime insiders like himself, Ouani said. Managing the patronage network endeared him to the Supreme Leader, but at a cost. So that's who the new current acting president is of Iran. This doesn't really determine who's going to be elected next in the coming elections after the death of the previous leader, but it could be possible he could be the next guy in charge. So Yes, we'll keep you updated on the Iranian situation. And that's my story.
All right. Hold on a second. Let me pause something here. And we have sports news to lead off this Mucking Fun Day. Did you know that there has not been an undisputed heavyweight champion in boxing for 25 years? Because they have so many different organizations, and everybody wants to have their own belt and their own crown. Well, they had a fight the other night to unite all the titles, and we have a new champion. This is from Al Jazeera. Alexander Usyk beat Tyson Fury by scoring a razor-thin split decision, won the world's first undisputed heavyweight championship in 25 years, an unprecedented feat in boxing's four-belt era. United Kingdom's Fury was the early aggressor, but Usyk gradually took charge of the Gypsy King. The Gypsy King is Fury's nickname. Was saved by the bell in the 9th round before slumping to his first career defeat on Sunday. It's a great time. It's a great day, Usyk said. Ukraine's Usyk joins the likes of Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, and Mike Tyson as the undisputed heavyweight champion, the first since boxing recognized 4 major belts in the 2000s. With the win, the former undisputed cruiserweight champion can legitimately claim to be the best of this area, although a rematch is expected in October could provide another twist. That was always a rematch because you can make money. Well, that's what it's about, man. These big paydays. Nobody gets punched in the head for nothing, right?
Yeah.
The UK's... I know I wouldn't. The UK's Lennox Lewis was the last man to unify the heavyweight title, except there was only 3 different organizations at the time after he beat Evander Holyfield in 1999. So it's the first time in this... Put it another way, it's the first time in this century there's just been one heavyweight champion. Usyk got the better of the opening rounds before Fury hit his stride in the 4th, engaging in some of the showmanship as he started to catch Usyk with vicious body shots. But the Ukrainian battled back with several stinging reminders of his power. I just want to note that I did watch the highlights of this fight, and this is an awesome fight. But it just punch after punch. Oh, Tyson Fury looked like he was going to go down the last 4 rounds, and he's a big, tall guy, right? And when he just like that guy looked like a tree about to fall every round, and somehow he stayed on his feet. Right, and Usyk's like 6 inches shorter, so he's just like a lumberjack chopping down a tree, right? Usyk turned the tide in the 8th round, as I was just describing. Usyk turned the tide in the 8th round, and few would have been surprised that the referee stopped the fight in the 9th as the Ukrainian's powerful punches to the head left Fury reeling. Usyk hit Fury, who is now 34-1-1, with a left hand and eventually sent him sprawling into the corner in the final seconds of the round, getting credit for the knockdown before Fury was saved by the bell. Legitimately, that's a thing, not just a TV show.
Probably would have fell over like a tree if he wasn't.
Yeah. He was the dead man walking, but he stayed on his feet. Fury struggled to mount a consistent attack after nearly getting stopped and knocked down. And the knockdown turned out to be this decisive factor in the decision. Thank you so much for my team, Usyk said while fighting back tears in the ring after the win. Fury kissed Usyk on the head after the final bell. Fury also said he wants the rematch in October. I believe I won the fight, Fury said. I believe he won a few rounds, but I won the majority of them, and I believe I was one of those what can you do with one of them decisions in boxing. We both put on a good fight, best we can do. You know that his country's at war, so people are siding with the country at war, but make no mistake, I won the fight. In my opinion, I'll be back. I've got a rematch clause. Usyk landed 41% of his 407 punches, while Fury landed just 31% of his 496 punches. According to CompuBox statistics, Usyk both threw and landed more power punches. Usyk has now joined the elite club of fighters who have held every major world championship belt at heavyweight, and he is the first to do it in the 4-belt era, which began in 2007. The list of undisputed champions includes Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Floyd Patterson, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and Mike Tyson. But nobody has a cooler name than Tyson Fury. Anyway, Vladimir Klitschko, who was once also a heavyweight champion from Ukraine, by the way. I think he's a mayor of a city in Ukraine now. His twin brother was also a heavyweight champion, or
really?
At least a contender.
Oh.
Yeah, not his twin brother, his brother, the Klitschko brothers. Anyway, was among the legends watching along the Saudi-based football stars Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar. Riyadh's new-built 22,000 capacity Kingdom Arena was packed when Usyk strode out for his ring walk at 1:30 a.m. wearing green Cossack coat and fur hat. They started this fight at 1:30 a.m. Gotta tell you, man, there must have been a lot of prelims, right?
Yeah.
Fury followed, dancing to Barry White and Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero in a green sleeveless jacket and a back-to-front baseball cap. He set the stage for a clash of two fighters with impeccable pedigrees and very different approaches to the sport. In the co-main event, Australia's Jai Opatia won a unanimous decision over Maris Brandis of Latvia to win the vacant IBF cruiserweight title. If you weigh the same as a cruiser, you can be the cruiserweight. I would like that cruiserweight.
I don't think so.
Meanwhile, Ireland's Anthony Cachichi scored a TKO win over Joe Cordina of Wales to retain his IBO super featherweight title and claim the IBF belt. So there's your boxing news for the weekend. We never get enough boxing updates. They call it the sweet science of bashing another guy's brains in. Or ladies.
Yeah.
Ladies do it now.
The sweet
The
science.
ladies. And the sweet science of knowing you're killing somebody slowly. Oh, yeah. Cute.
Okay, well, congratulations, I guess, for getting your payout finally after all these years of getting your head slammed against another person's fist, probably. You finally get your justice, your due justice. All this work wasn't worth nothing. Now, this has nothing to do with boxing, so I have no good tangent here, or no segue, but, oh, there's a dog barking outside my window. Coming out of India, this is on AP News by CB Arasu. Almost 970 million Indians are voting in general elections amid sweltering heat and unpredictable weather extremes exacerbated by the human-caused climate change, leading to loss of livelihood, forced migration, and increasingly difficult living conditions for millions across the country. Voters are looking for politicians who promise relief, stability, and resilience to the wide-ranging and damaging effects of warming climate. In their election manifestos, India's top political parties, including the governing Bharatiya Janata Party and the main opposition, the Congress Party, have made multiple promises to act on climate damage and reduce emissions of the planet-heating gases. But there has been little talk about climate change on the campaign trail. Climate change is still not among the headlines during these elections despite its obvious impact on millions of Indian lives. Anjal Prakash, author of multiple United Nations climate reports, has said, "The Indian subcontinent, surrounded by ocean on three sides and the Himalayan ranges in its north, is vulnerable to sea level rise, severe storms, heavy floods, and melting glaciers. It's also experienced extreme heat spells and severe drought as global average temperatures climb." Report by the New Delhi-based Center of Science and Environment said India experienced extreme weather on nearly 90% of its days last year. Vaibhav Moskit's millet farm was dry to the bone in early May, even though he dug 3 boreholes 600 feet deep looking for water. 25-year-old lives in Marathwada, one of the most acutely affected heat and drought-prone regions in western Maharashtra state, and farmers there say the current summer is the worst major drought in almost a decade. But politicians haven't been paying attention. Politicians are only talking about religion and caste. No one is talking about the environment or farmers' issues, said Moska. They are saying Prime Minister Modi is giving money to farmers. That's good. But at the same time, the taxes are so high on everything, including our farm equipment. So how can you make ends meet this way? Since February 2019, a federal government scheme transfers $70 to around 100 million farmers a year to supplement their income. But Mosque said it's of little use as a farm expense like water, fertilizer, and farm gear now cost them up to $180 a month. Instead, Mosque said local and federal governments need to prioritize providing water source for farming. They need to dig up canals and divert some water from rivers in nearby areas, so we have some steady supply of water. No one has done anything about this, he said. Yeah, I guess maybe all the farmers have to just get together and dig their own freaking canal, and then of course the government will be like, hey, you dug an illegal canal! Well, we've been asking you guys to dig one, you haven't, so we did it ourselves. Fuck you guys. India's eastern coast have been long prone to cyclones, but the number of intense storms is increasing along the country's coast. Last year, India's deadliest cyclone season in recent times, killing 523 people and costing an estimated $2.5 billion in damage. Roxy Matthew Cole, a climate scientist in the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, said their studies found that flood had increased threefold since the 1950s and cyclones have increased by 50% since the 1980s, making disasters a political focal point for the regions worst affected by them. Around 25,000 people in Ennore neighborhood in Chennai plan to boycott the Indian general elections, in part due to the lack of government support post-cyclone Mishaung, which devastated the eastern coast of southern India in December 2023. Politicians just come asking for votes, making promises, said Subhashini Ravi, a 37-year-old resident of Ennore. Once elections are over, they just disappear. Still, the boycott was called off at the last minute after the regional government said they would address the issues post-election. Issues related to religion, caste, and employment still determine most Indians' political preferences, but Cole said at the local level, climate is playing a role when the entire community is affected. Yeah, our entire village is underwater right now, but, at least we're not in the caste system anymore. Local and federal authorities have managed to adapt partially to increasingly frequent cyclones by evacuating coastal residents in time and drastically reducing the loss of life, but as cyclones get more intense, many residents like Ravi are still worried about the future. Thousands in Assam state are dependent on fishing and selling produce like rice, jute, and vegetables from the small farms on the floating river islands in Brahmaputra River, known locally as Chars. When it floods, residents of Char Island often row in makeshift rafts to dry land and return once it subsides. But floods are now more devastating and unpredictable because of climate change, locals say, making it harder to stay on the islands. Residents are wary nothing will change no matter who they vote for. All politicians promise to solve problems related to flooding, but after elections are over, no one cares about it, said Yad Ali, a 55-year-old farmer in Sandakalti, a village located on Small River Island in the northeastern Indian Assam state. Baruni Ajmal, the leader of the All India United Democratic Front, a regional party in Assam and the main opposition in the state, has repeatedly talked about providing for long-term relief from flooding during his campaigns and this election. Leaders of the national parties such as the BJP, also in power in the Assam state, and the Congress Party have largely ignored the issue during the election campaigning in Assam this year. They're only worried about the cities and making mad cash. They don't care about actual people that are voting for them. Considered one of the world's most vulnerable regions to the climate, according to a 2021 report, Ali said the lack of political will is only making life harder. In the Shinmal city in India's mountainous Himachal Pradesh state, apple farmer Sanjay Chauhan recalls the deadly rainfall in the region last year that killed 428 people and broke local rainfall records. I had not seen anything like this, Chauhan said. He incurred $5,000 worth of damages to his orchards in heavy rain, and property damage across the state was estimated at $1.42 billion. Mind you, this is a country that is giving farmers what was it, $70 to help their income. So that $5,000 is way more to an Indian person than to us. That's way more damage. Many issues were raised after the devastation last year, but the government and political leaders are only providing temporary relief, he said. Rising global temperatures means more water evaporates in the heat, which is then dumped as heavy rain. Fast-melting glaciers in regions that scientists say could lose 80% of their volume by the end of the century means the Himalayan and its people are at a further risk. But climate-related concerns like heavy flooding and melting glaciers have not featured in the election campaigns in the state. Most political speeches in the Himachal Pradesh have focused on issues related to corruption, price rise, and unemployment, regardless of party allegiance. Meanwhile, Chauhan has said locals are worried about what the monsoons would bring this year. Other regions also suffered heavy losses in terms of lives, property, and farmland due to heavy rain, including the neighboring state of Uttarakhand, Delhi, and most northern and western Indian states. What we need are long-term strategies to combat extreme weather events, Chauhan has said. So, that is your news coming out of India. Everyone is struggling, and let's not forget, one of the largest populations in the world is also struggling from these extreme climate changes and flooding and storms. And I'm sure with all that water, there's also a lot of no water. So, I don't know. Go yell at some Indian politicians and tell them to care about their people, I guess. And maybe they'll listen to you, because they're not listening to their own people. And I guess that's my story. I did add the applause thing, by the way.
Did you? Okay, let me check. You want me to check it out or what?
I'll do it now. Can you hear it?
Wow, that's more of a he just sunk the winning putt at a golf tournament, right? He just putted a golf tournament. That was more like amazement, right?
I guess that's
look at the size of that cake.
Sounds.
Oh, well, I have to think of an application for that, I guess. Maybe you can do it at the end of this story. I don't know. Okay, well, it's time to catch up on America's pervy, creepy, drunk bridge troll, Rudy Giuliani. He was served with an indictment the other day in a humorous way, so we're going to get to real quick. This is from BusinessInsider.com. Rudy Giuliani boasted he would avoid indictment, and an official struck at his 80th birthday party. And we also have a better story on an astronaut, so let's dispose of this right away. Rudy Giuliani was served an indictment notice during his 80th birthday party after bragging on social media that he would avoid the law officials. Giuliani was served at a party on Friday night, hosted by GOP operative Carolyn Wren of Palm Beach, Florida, with guests taken aback by the intrusion. Intrusion, my ass. He was avoiding the law, sonny boy. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays confirmed the indictment service via social media with a tweet, "Nobody is above the law." Giuliani had tweeted, "If Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, 1, they must dismiss the indictment, and 2, they must concede they can't count votes." Well, ha, Rudy, they indicted you. Mays shared a screenshot of the former mayor of New York's post with Giuliani smiling and surrounded by a group of women. That's right. That Mays, the Attorney General. That's right. We indicted you. Prosecutors charged Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and a slate of Arizona Republicans with multiple felonies, a 58-page indictment made public in April. The indictment notice requires Giuliani to appear before a judge, making a significant step in the case that has been developing for weeks. And it's been taking too long, if you ask me. How long is it going to take, you know? It's like 3.5 years, basically. The indictment is part of a broader legal struggle for Giuliani and other Trump allies involved in the alleged. The charges outline Giuliani's role in spreading false claims of voter fraud and urging fake GOP electors to cast votes for Trump, Pence, and other contested states. Nothing alleged about it. They got it on videotape. I got it on tape. Okay, there's your Giuliani story as he hopefully goes to prison for the rest of his life. 80-year-old. How much, what has he got? 5 minutes left? You know, and on
5
better news
minutes
involving a
left,
90. Well, God, you know. Again, this guy continues to waste our time. No idea while he's still walking around free. He's an obvious criminal. I mean, so many obvious criminals, just free. And they say things. Still saying alleged, like, oh, we're gonna get sued if we don't say alleged. Meanwhile, Rudy running around spouting his mouth off, accusing people all kinds of stuff. Never says alleged, and he's a lawyer. Allegedly, right? He's allegedly a lawyer. That's about the only time he uses it. Right. Okay, so enough of news about scumbag 80-year-olds. Let's talk about a cool 90-year-old who went to space. That's right. This is from Fizz.org. Assam Ahmed wrote this article. Blue Origin flies thrill seekers to space, including the oldest astronaut. Blue Origin saw its first crew launch since a rocket mishap in 22 left rival Virgin Galactic as a sole operator in the fledgling suborbital tourism market. After nearly 2-year hiatus, Blue Origin flew adventurers to space on Sunday, including a former Air Force pilot who was denied the chance to be the United States' first black astronaut decades ago.
Oh, we did a story on him.
He was the first crew.
I did a story on him.
That's right. Yeah. Well, now he's in space.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why I'm following up. Well, I should have said this. This is a follow-up, right?
Yeah, because we also talked about them doing it to begin with, right? We talked about them actually doing the... Yeah.
That's what we do. We talk. Okay, where... 6 people, including sculptor Ed Dwight, who was on track to become NASA's first astronaut of color in the 1960s before being controversially spurned. I swear, people are fucking scumbags. They just come up with any reason. Oh yeah, we had to cut you because you didn't brush your teeth. I don't know. Launched around 9:30 a.m. local time from the launch site 1 based in West Texas, a live feed showed. Dwight, at 90 years, 8 months, and 10 days, became the oldest person ever to go to space. This is a life-changing experience. Everybody needs to do this, he exclaimed after the flight. I thought I didn't really need this in my life, he added, reflecting on the submission from the astronaut corps, which was the first experience with a failure as a young man. But I lied, he added with a hearty laugh. You take everything you imagine, you multiply roughly by 100, and you're still quite far from reality. Crewmate and French and entrepreneur Sylvain Charon told AFP, I'm not quite back down to earth yet. One of the Blue Origin's cast with 3 parachutes failed to fully inflate, possibly resulting in a harder landing than expected. Mission NS-25 is the 7th human flight for Blue Origin, which flies Short Johnson, a New Shepard suborbital vehicle, as a stepping stone to greater ambitions, including development of a full-fledged heavy rocket lunar lander. Because we have a reason to be on the moon? I have no idea.
Honestly,
including Sunday's...
Oh wait, you finish the story. I'll say my bit after.
Okay, I'll try to finish it. The program encountered a setback when the New Shepard rocket caught fire shortly after launch in September 12, 2022. A federal investigation revealed that the overheating engine nozzle was at fault. After liftoff, the sleek and zoomy capsule separated from the booster, which produced 0 carbon emissions. The rocket performed precision vertical landing. That's important to note that rocket fuel, the things that blast off rocket, does not create any carbon. It's hydrogen and oxygen. And they combine really fast, and that creates an explosion that sends a rocket to space. As a spaceship soared beyond, and the waste product is, of course, steam. As a spaceship soared beyond the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space 62 miles above sea level, passengers had the chance to marvel at Earth's curvature and unbuckle their seatbelts to float or somersault during a few minutes of weightlessness. The capsule then re-entered the atmosphere, deploying its parachutes for a desert landing in a puff of sand. However, one of the 3 parachutes failed to fully inflate, possibly resulting in a harder landing than expected. So let's get back to his story. Dwight, who was almost 2 months older than William Shatner at the time of his flight, became only the 2nd nonagenarian to venture beyond Earth. So William Shatner's on the ground going, damn it, I got my record broken. Astronaut John Glenn remains the oldest to orbit the planet, a feat he achieved in 1998 at the age of 77 aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery. Sunday's mission finally gave Dwight the chance he was denied decades ago. He was an elite test pilot when he was appointed by then-President John F. Kennedy to join a highly competitive Air Force program known as Pathway for the Astronaut Corps, but he was ultimately not picked. He left the military in 1966, citing a strain of racial politics, before dedicating his life to telling Black history through sculpture. His art, displayed around the country, includes iconic figures like Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, and more. So our man Dwight finally gets to go to space. And what were you going to say?
Or did you forget what I was going to say?
Damn it.
But,
Damn it. I scared it out of your brain. Sorry.
No,
you should have said it.
Fine.
You should have blurted it out.
Oh, that's what I was. The only reason, I just remember now, the only reason I care about this and why I want it to succeed is because I believe in the idea. I forget who said this. I think it was maybe Neil Armstrong or somebody, some famous, maybe Buzz, I don't know, one of the famous astronauts who said every single politician should go into space and see the planet they're fighting over for scraps. Right? So that's the only reason I really want this tourist kind of tour of the Earth to happen, so that every time you get elected, you have to, it's like right into the law. Every newly elected president has to go into space and say, all right, guys, look, this is the thing you're going to be yelling over for the next whatever years. This is the thing you care about. You only got one. And it's right there.
That's why I say living on the moon's got to suck, because you get to look at Earth all day. Go, wow, I wish I was back there. Boy, it sucks up here. Right?
I wish I could be at a beach right now instead of up here. Yeah.
At least if you're on Mars, it's a distant thing. You can't see that well. And you're on the moon, it's that big fucking thing there, right? Anyway. Sorry about the bad language.
It's okay.
My descriptive language. Yeah, all right. All right, back to you.
Okay. Well, get angry because we're talking about things that happened in the past that people are finally saying they did. Because we as a society do not like to believe women when bad things happen to them. We're just like, oh, you're silly. Nothing bad has ever happened to you. You're a woman. This is coming off of Euronews Culture with Association of AP. The rapper and record producer apologized after CNN released a video of him attacking his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. American music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, formerly known as P. Diddy and Puff Daddy, has admitted that he beat his former girlfriend Cassie in a hotel hallway in 2016 after CNN released video footage of the attack. In a video statement posted to Instagram and Facebook, the Grammy Award-winning Who Gives a Shit What Awards he's won said he was disgusted by his own behavior. Yeah, I'm sure you are now that everyone knows you did it. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted when I did it, and I'm disgusted now, he said. That's what all abusers say. I can't believe I did that to somebody. Well, you shouldn't have done it to begin with. Go to some therapy, get some anger management, and stop beating people because you can't deal with your own emotions. The security footage, which aired on Friday, like it was on a TV. Dun dun dun! Like everyone, it's airing today. The great video. I would say
a video from 2016.
Yeah, from 2016. This happened.
So they just found it now, or what?
Yeah, like the hospital was like, you know what? I think this is now that P. Diddy is in a lot of trouble right now. Let's finally allow our security footage to be released from 2016.
I know when an athlete gets accused of something, they got that video right away, man.
Off or something. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
That's bullshit.
In the security video, Combs, clad solely in a white towel, is chasing and assaulting his then longtime girlfriend Cassie. The footage shows Combs throwing to the ground and kicking Cassie, who is an R&B star, as well as dragging her down the corridor and throwing what appears to be a vase. Cassie, whose legal name is Cassandra Ventura, sued Combs last year over what she called years of sexual and physical emotional abuse. The suit was settled in the next day, but prompted intense scrutiny of Combs' conduct. A number of lawsuits were filed in the following months, including accusations of sexual assault by music producer, along with federal criminal sex trafficking investigations that led authorities to raid Combs' mansion in Los Angeles and Miami. In December, after Ventura, at least 3 other women had filed lawsuits against him, Combs posted a statement on Instagram denying the allegations against him. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of this awful things being alleged, that post said. Neither he nor his representatives had responded to the incriminating newly released video until Sunday, which was May 19th. So the videos dropped on May 17th and no one replied until May 19th. It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you got to do that, Diddy said in Sunday's video statement, a somber expression on his face. Okay, well, nobody said he wasn't a good actor. I went on and I sought out professional help. I got into my therapy, going to rehab, he added. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to being a better man each and every day, and I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Sorry,
not
he's blaming
everyone was
God.
so convinced, like me, by Combs' apparent remorse, however. Mildred Firetog, who represents Ventura and other women who have sued Combs, claimed the apology was more about himself than the many people he has hurt. When Cassie and multiple other women came forward, he denied everything and suggested that his victims were looking for a payday. The lawyer said in a statement that he was only compelled to apologize once his repeated denials were proven false, shows his pathetic desperation. No one will be swayed by his disingenuous words. In spite of his recent admissions of guilt, Combs is not in danger of criminal prosecution for the assault on his ex-girlfriend. The statutes of limitations for assault and battery charges he would be likely to face expired years ago. I can't believe the statutes of limitations on assault and battery are so short. Especially since we've done there's been so many scientific papers released about how people who get assaulted aren't able to deal with the trauma of the situation until years after it happens. Because your brain is a magical thing, okay? It does this thing where it protects you. It will actually erase all memory of terrible things so that you can go on living and surviving. So it's no surprise there's many people out there who have been victims of assault and sexual assault and all sorts of terrible things that don't realize it happened to them until way later when their brain is like, you know what, it's been 10 years since that happened. I'm gonna let you remember it now. And then you go, oh shit, I can't believe that happened to me. And I can't even charge anybody for it or get any closure because the limitation.
1999, Combs was charged with 1999, Combs pleaded guilty to assaulting a record executive and was ordered to 1 day of anger management.
Yeah, I'm sure that fixed it.
There's your winner right there. Yeah, he's been a piece of shit his whole life.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying people can't change their ways, but he's been given so many chances to change his ways, right?
He ain't changed his ways.
Yeah.
He thinks it's about him.
Yeah, it's about him.
Oh my God, those people are after money. And then not everybody's like you. Anyway, not my favorite guy.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there that's going, hey, I'm going to go get beat up by a famous rapper so I can get a paycheck later. There's nobody out there saying that's not a thing, right? Nobody's out there thinking that's not their plan. That's not their secret plan. Nobody wants to do that.
He would probably name his victims, but he don't remember their names.
Right.
The many women he's punched or beaten or abused and thrown money at. You know, here's $500, here's $1,000, whatever. You had it coming. Yeah, what a piece of shit this guy is.
That's
Sean
my
Punky
story.
Combs.
Yeah, it's quite
Punk
short,
Daddy.
but just update because he got into some hot water with the.
What's he calling himself now? Is it Puff Daddy?
No, he's just called Sean Diddy Combs. That's his
No, it's Diddy Combs.
That's his real name, I think.
The first time I heard his name was in conjunction with some kind of arrest, I believe, and that was probably the 1999 one.
Well, I
don't know, and
the famous.
It's all about the Benjamins.
Yeah, the famous kind of conspiracy with P. Diddy is that he's the one who killed Tupac, or put that out the kill order to kill Tupac. So probably. But again, the cops didn't care because, again, the only arrest they made was after everybody was dead. All the witnesses were dead. Well,
I was like, okay.
It's just black people killing each other, so who cares, That's their problem.
Yeah, let them take care of it.
I was sarcastic, by the way. Just in case anybody quotes me saying, Allison hates black people. I don't hate black people.
It's people like Sean Puffy Combs, who just set back intelligent discourse.
Yeah.
Back to basically back to the reset position, right? It's like, okay, we got to start over for the lowest common denominator and explain how things work. You don't hit other people just because you're mad. You can punch a wall, hurt yourself, break your own hand. That's how civilized people do it.
You can also
become a heavyweight boxer.
Violence to express your emotions. There's other ways to express your emotions. I know it's a joke, right? When you're a toddler, your
how about
mom
pick
or
on somebody your own size at least,
and you'll feel better. But it really does work. Counting to 10, focusing on the numbers, calms your brain down.
Right, and maybe perhaps look at the difference in size before you hit somebody.
Yeah.
You know, the old expression, pick on somebody your own size, you know? Get in a boxing ring with somebody that has the potential of kicking your ass. No, he's picking easy targets because he's a coward.
Yeah.
All right, so this is This Day in History. Enough talk about Rudy the Coward and Sean the Coward. Let's talk about this day in history. In 1784, the Netherlands yielded to Great Britain some of its holdings in India and Indonesia in a treaty signed as part of the Peace of Paris, a collection of treaties that concluded the American Revolution. You believe that?
Yeah. No, I don't.
During the settlement of the American Revolution, the Netherlands lost land to Great Britain. There you go. It makes perfect sense to me. 1799, French author Honoré de Balzac. Everybody's ever told you to work on your Balzac, that's what they're talking about. French author Honoré de Balzac, considered one of the greatest fiction writers and best known for a collection of novels and short stories collectively called La Comédie Humaine, the human comedy, was born. Work on your Balzac. 1806, economics and philosopher John Stuart Mill was born in London. John Stuart Mill. That would be a mill if it was named after my dad. It would be the John Stuart Mill.
Oh, really? Okay.
1873. 1873, Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis, I can't pronounce Davis. Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis were granted a patent for using copper rivets to strengthen certain areas of trousers, notably pocket corners. The patent was credited with giving the rise to blue jeans, and to this day, Levi's, the most worldwide name in jeans. 1882, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy secretly formed the Triple Alliance, a treaty organization that provided for mutual protection against attacks by other European powers until Italy entered World War I. 1902, Cuba gained its independence from the United States, which had taken control of the island in 1899 after defeating Spain in the Spanish-American War. 1846, did you get my mic drop yet?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get it? Are you there? You got it? Okay. Almost forgot I sent that.
Yeah, I never know you send it because I don't have my notifications on during the show because I don't want it.
Oh, this one's easy. It's a minute and something, so you don't even have to do anything to it. 1946 was Cher's birthday. 2002, East Timor officially became independent. On this day, in 2015, David Letterman, who redefined American talk shows with his unconventional humor. Isn't humor always unconventional? An innovative segment, stepped down as host of The Late Show of David Letterman. In 1862, our featured event. In 1862, the U.S. Homestead Act signed. On this day in 1862, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln signed the Homestead Act, which provided 160 acres of public land virtually free of charge to those who had lived on and cultivated the land for at least 5 years. In our featured biography, it's Jimmy Stewart's birthday. Jimmy Stewart is born May 20th, 1908. It says James Stewart. He was born in Indiana, Pennsylvania. He was born in 2 different states. No, he was born in Indiana, Pennsylvania. He died July 2nd, 1997 at the age of 89 in Beverly Hills, California. Jimmy Stewart was not just an actor. He was a pilot in World War II.
Wow.
He could have
I didn't
taken
know that.
easily
Or maybe I
out, but he
did know,
became
but
a
I forgot.
combat pilot. He was an actual war hero. And when they made that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, he had just gotten back from, war, seeing his friends, die. And I think he had a bit of what they call post-traumatic stress disorder. You can see it in that movie. He had
I think
a little bit
everyone
of stress
does.
on him.
So.
Yeah.
They
War
called it
can
shell
fuck
shock,
with your
didn't
head.
they? Or is that back then?
I don't know. Probably just, you're a pilot. I think more of the death you see on a daily basis is your friend this morning at the airfield is gone forever. He's never coming back.
Ruined, crashed somewhere. Yeah.
Right, or your bombardier or your whatever got shot. Got caught a stray round and his head blew up or something. Something like that. Other birthdays today: Moshe Dayan, Israeli statesman. I know him, the guy with the eye patch. I was born in 1950. Eye patch guy. And 1935 is the birthday of Jose Mujica, president of Uruguay. Born in this day in 1935. We also mentioned Cher, and it's National Day calendar. What day is it today? It's a National Be a Millionaire Day. What, you're not a millionaire yet? What's wrong with you? National Rescue Dog Day. National Pick Strawberries Day. So are strawberries already in season? My goodness. Wow. Well, it's National Pick Strawberries Day. I hope they're in season, because otherwise it'd be a waste of time to pick them. They're all still green. National Rescue Dog Day. We did that. National Sugar Bay Apple Day. National Streaming Day, which is what we're doing right now. And National Quiche Lorraine Day. So those are your days for May 20th, 2024. On before Quiche Lorraine.
What the hell is quiche
or any Lorraine for that matter. It's quiche, and
quiche.
somebody named Lorraine makes it.
It's one Lorraine
Quiche.
makes it. No,
Want
it's
me to
from
tell you?
Lorraine.
Quiche Lorraine is the beginning?
It's a quiche specifically from the region of
Lorraine.
Lorraine in France. Yeah, okay.
I know, I was making a joke. I know it's a joke. He asked me what it was. The Lorraine region is also known for many other delicious dishes. Also, is Malandines, Jordan almonds, macaroons. Macron's the president of France, but he's not a macaroon or a Lorraine hot pot.
No, I think he's the prime minister of France. The president is somebody else. France has both the president and a prime minister.
Your mom's a Lorraine hot pot. Anyway, those are your stories for today, May 20th on. And before you pick strawberries, back to you.
This has been Allison here from the Netherlands. I hope you have had a good weekend. Tomorrow we will be covering all the good news that we can find. Maybe not all of it. The ones that we think is good enough to talk about. Sometimes it's really hard to find some good news, so we're going to be looking for some good news. So keep your eyes on your whatever you use to know we're going live. Subscribe, I guess, and then you can get a notification when we go live for Good News Tuesday. Yeah, turn on that notification bell, ring the bell, and yeah, I guess comment down below if you believe that P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or Sean Combs will ever not be an asshole.
Put him in a cell with Rudy.
Here's your mic drop moment.
The story is about the man and his wife sitting having breakfast. Very nice couple. And the man said, Margaret, no, it was the other way around. Margaret said to John, John, if I would die, would you get married right away after my death? But John said, well, that's the darndest thing. Here's a beautiful morning, and we're sitting here having a nice breakfast together, and you bring up this terrible thing about death. I'm not going to talk to you. That's a terrible thing to do, Margaret. And I forget about it. But she didn't forget about it. She brought the same thing up that night. And he did the same thing. And then for about 3 days, she said, now, what, if I would die, would you get married? Finally, he gave up, and he said, one night, she said, if I would die, would you get married again? He said, yes, I would. No, is that settled? She said, would you sell the house? He said, no. No, I wouldn't sell the house. She said, would you sell our bed? He said, no. No, I wouldn't. It's our bed. I don't see any reason why. No, I wouldn't sell the bed. She said, well, you certainly wouldn't let her touch my golf clubs. And he said, no, she's left-handed.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.